Sarah Coyne with Joplin Schools, and I'm here today with Julie Munn, who is the principal at Kelsey Norman Elementary School. And thank you so much for being here today with me.
Thank you.
Julie also acts as the chairperson for our district's calendar committee. So we're going to chat today about what it takes to build the district calendar. Each year we have a new academic calendar that's released at late winter or early spring in Joplin schools. So we know the work starts long before then. Can you talk to us a little bit about who builds the calendar for Joplin schools?
Yes. So usually, like she said, or in the past, I should say, we've started after Christmas break and brought it to the board in the spring. But this year we wanted to start earlier. So we did and took it to the board in December to have that finalized for next year. But we have a committee that consists of representatives from each building, every building in Joplin School District, and then we also have other staff. We have clerical staff, we have custodial staff, central administration staff. We try to get everyone their voice heard on the committee. We start there and we meet and formulate just a basic draft, and then those committee members take it back to their school and get their opinion, get their input, and then bring that back to the committee. And we sometimes keep that draft, we change another draft. We've had multiple drafts before. And then from that point on, after we finalize it, depending how many times we need to meet, some years are easier than others, then we take it to central administration. They just peek over it to make sure there's nothing sticking out that we haven't seen, and then it goes to the Board of Education for approval.
Okay, so you mentioned that some years are easier than others to create a calendar. What are some of the particular dates and concerns that your committee has to be aware of when you're building a new calendar?
Well, in contracts right now, we have 170 student days and 8 professional development days. So we have to keep those in mind. We try to strategically focus our professional development days around our assessment calendar, around building those things that we need to for students, what is best for students. And then on top of that, we have to face legislation that has come out the last couple years that we can't start prior to 2 weeks before Labor Day. We always want to finish before Memorial Day, so we're pretty locked on days, and then building that in between there. Those are important. And then we also have the start of summer school and keeping those days so that teachers can have a work day there, and then have our correct number of summer school days that we need.
So this is a lot of work, it sounds like, and I think you guys do it really well. You mentioned that you have several drafts that you go through. How do you present those drafts to the school board? Who decides on the final, say if you bring 3 or 4 drafts to the administration office, who decides which calendar goes to the school board for approval?
Usually the calendar committee, most of the time, unless there's just something that we can't figure out, we get it down to a final draft. And then that is what is presented to the board. And if they have any input or anything, we may have to go back to the committee or they approve it from there. So usually we just present one draft, but we have in the past had to present a couple drafts. But we try to get it down, all the steps done before, since the committee goes and gets all the input from the staff.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I think that gives a pretty good picture of how the calendar is built in Joplin schools, and I think it's probably a little different in every school district, so we appreciate your input.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.